Hey, welcome back to our site build series where we're going from nothing at all, not even an idea for a website, to a fully built website with hundreds of articles on it and lots of affiliate links. I'm showing you exactly how to do that. First video, we chose a niche. The niche I chose was home decor. I encourage you to choose your own niche so you can follow along and do this with me. Second video, we did lots of keyword research. We did keyword research with Ahrefs. We did keyword clustering with Keyword Chef. We did topical authority generation and mapping using ZimmWriter. We took all that, turned it into keywords, and then took those keywords and turned them into blog post titles because those are two different things. Last video, we registered our domain name. If you haven't done any of these steps, stop this video, go back and do those steps. Now in this video, we're going to talk all about hosting providers, who you should choose, because without a host, you can't have a site. So very high level, we're going to be looking at managed hosting providers. We want somebody else to deal with the updating of PHP, of all the server software that's not really related to WordPress, but WordPress requires. They are going to deal with all of that stuff. All I want to do, all you want to do is just press the update plugin button on WordPress and generate your sites. You don't want to have to do anything else. So we're looking at managed providers. Now, in the world of managed providers, we have two categories. We have shared hosts, hosts that will put your site, your WordPress install on a server with 10, 50, or 100 other WordPress installs. And we'll also look at dedicated providers where you basically are renting the server just for yourself, for your own site, or maybe you want to put 10 of your own sites on that server, but you have full control of the RAM, of the CPU usage. You can max it out all day long, every day for the entire month if you want to. So we're going to look at those two categories. I want to talk about shared hosts first. Shared hosting usually gets a bad rap because there's a lot of providers out there. They're resellers, basically. It's almost like an MLM. It's like just a hierarchy of resellers. Like this guy's reselling to this guy who's reselling to this guy. And what they're basically doing is overextending the capacity of the server. So your server ends up slowing down and you get poor performance. And now there are some good shared hosts out there. And the only way you can really tell is by recommendations from other people. Don't look at recommendations from websites like the best shared hosts or for 2025. Don't look for that stuff. That's just affiliate stuff. Go on Reddit or ask your friends who have a lot of experience with this. SiteGround is a great shared host. Also Rocket.net. There are differences between the two. A lot of shared hosts will do one of two things. They'll limit you on the number of WordPress site installs you can use, or they'll limit you on the number of visitors, or they'll limit you on resources or in nodes or something like that. So let's take a look at SiteGround right now. I still have a couple sites hosted with SiteGround, although I am migrating away from them, not because I don't like them, but they don't fit what I need right now, but they might fit what you need right now. So let's click on web hosting and we'll go down here. And so a couple different plans. I'll compare all the features so I can better explain this. So here's the different plans from SiteGround. And I like this over something like Rocket.net. Rocket.net is a very highly recommended shared host also, but they limit you on the number of WordPress installs based on your plan. So I think for 3 WordPress installs, you're going to pay them $60 a month. For people just starting out that don't have a site getting tons and tons of traffic, that's not really a good fit for you. So this might be a better fit where you just want to create 10 or 15 or 20 sites. None of them are getting any traffic right now. You're just testing the waters to see what sites will end up being winners and what sites are going to be duds. So in terms of the limits, these aren't limits for the number of visitors. They're just recommendations based on the server usage that you're going to be allotted for the plan. You have a certain number of storage space. These two plans will have unlimited websites, but obviously if you put on 100 websites, you're going to hit some limits in here. This is what you want to hover over. Check this out. On this essential plan, you have 1,000 script executions an hour. Right over here, you have 4,000 script executions. So that could nip you in the bud if you have a couple websites hosted with them. Now, I've hosted a lot of websites in the past. I have not had an issue, but this is the problem you're going to run into when you go on a shared hosting plan, whether it's through SiteGround or Rocket.net or basically anyone else. Because your site is not the only site on that server, you're going to hit these limits potentially. And then you're going to get a phone call saying, hey, you know what? You've hit these limits. We need to put you on in a much more expensive program right now. So you look at this stuff and you're like, this isn't that bad if you're just putting a couple sites on there, but you could eventually grow out of this very easily and then you're stuck on this higher plan. The thing I want to focus on most is this in nodes. See the in nodes at the bottom, 600,000, in nodes 400,000, in nodes 200,000. Think of those as files on your server. So you upload WordPress, and that's a couple thousand files right there. You upload an image, and WordPress is going to manipulate that and make 5 different versions of that image. So you upload 100 images, that turns into 500 images. So very quickly, with several sites, you can hit that in-node limit. That's a limit that a lot of these shared hosts will have. I don't think I've run into a shared host that does not have an in-node limit. They'll be like unlimited everything, but you do have a limit on the number of files you can store. And that's the problem for me personally. I like to not have basically any limits. Let me choose the amount of RAM I want for my server, choose the number of CPUs, and then have an allotted amount of bandwidth and just go buck wild. Fill the whole hard drive up if I want to, max out the CPU if I want to. So this is a shared hosting plan. It might be good for some of you. It's a good price to start with, but after a year, it will go up in price, and the price will end up being comparable to what I'm going to show you next. So the next thing, I have some sites hosted with Cloudways, and I'm migrating all of my SiteGround stuff over to Cloudways right now. And I think that it offers the best combination of performance with price. This is not a shared host. This would be a dedicated host. And you come down here and choose what you want. You're going to choose your server. Do you want a server hosted by DigitalOcean, server hosted by Vultr or Linode? DigitalOcean is usually the cheapest. And then you'll come over here and say you want premium servers, faster CPUs, faster cores, or just standard cores, slower cores. So you pick which one you want, and you pick how much RAM you want, how many processors you want, how much storage you want, and how much bandwidth. So you're like, you know what? I want to start with 2 gigabytes of RAM, 1 processor core, 50 gigs of storage, 2 terabytes of bandwidth. It's $20 a month. Now you can load that server up with as many sites as you want until the RAM starts to get maxed out and your CPU usage starts to get maxed out. And when it does, you can just bump up in real time to the next server in the pack. Or you can delete some of the sites that aren't working for you. So there's a lot of flexibility with this dedicated hosting. And this looks complicated, it really does. This is actually super easy. Cloudways makes this so easy. We're going to use Cloudways for this build. Like I said, I already have a couple sites hosted with Cloudways. I do have an affiliate link down below for both SiteGround and Cloudways. Now, I also have some sites hosted by this company called GridPane. GridPane is not a managed provider, but they do have a managed offering called Peak Freak. I don't want to get too deep into the woods. The pricing is a little bit less expensive than Cloudways, but it's not nearly, at least in my opinion, as user-friendly for just the average person as Cloudways. So it does the same thing as Cloudways, not nearly as user-friendly. Like the UI for Cloudways is so much easier to use. The monitoring is so much easier to see. They have offsite backups that's just integrated in the Cloudways platform, whereas here you're going to need to add like a Blackblaze server. So this is more for technically savvy people that want to spend a little bit more time diving into the weeds and trying to figure stuff out. But for the average person, Cloudways is worth the extra couple bucks a month. Then finally, I use this company for my ranking tactics site and one other site. It's like Cloudways in the respect that you can get a dedicated server, but the downside is you can only put one site on that dedicated server. So I'm probably overpaying by using this company, but for my ranking tactics site, I definitely want all the power I can get. And there's some benefits to this too. So like the normal plan, let's put this on yearly. And I put this on high frequency. So on Cloudways, like right now, 4 gigs of RAM, 2 core processor. When the promo is done, it will be $50 a month. But for $50 a month, I have 2 gigs of RAM, 2 CPUs. So it's less performance, but I can only put one site on this, unfortunately. Now I get tons of bandwidth. ZimmWriter, I'm always putting out updates to my AI writer, so I'm using a lot of bandwidth. So this is a good thing for me. Their interface is really easy to use. I really like everything about this. They have free daily backups. It's all included in the price. So this is cool if you just have one site and you don't need to put multiple sites onto that particular server. But for anybody watching this video who's going to spin up lots and lots of these affiliate sites, I really recommend just Cloudways. It's so easy. You're not going to run into the limitations that you'll run into with SiteGround. It's really easy to use compared to Peak Freak, and it's a lot less expensive from a multi-site standpoint than WPMU Dev. So that's what I recommend. That's what I'm going to go with for this build. There's links down below to my affiliate for SiteGround. There's also links down below to my affiliate for Cloudways. Again, this is a free course, so if you do want to get one of these platforms, please use my affiliate code. It would greatly appreciate it. But other than that, we have our host picked out. In the next video, we're actually going to create our first server inside of Cloudways. I'll show you how to do that, and we'll get WordPress set up. That will be the next video. So any questions, drop them down below. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you think so far about this course. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Good luck with your content generation. I'll talk to you later.